Robyn Flynn filling in for Elias Makos. The time right now is 10:20 on CJD 800. Listeria cases continue to rise in the country. The newest numbers from the Public Health Agency of Canada reveal Quebec now has 4 cases, but no new deaths have been reported, thankfully. So far, 13 people have been hospitalized, however, and 2 individuals in Ontario have died. Dr. Chris Labos is a cardiologist with a degree in epidemiology, and he's a regular contributor on Weekends with Joanne, Sundays at 7:05 a.m., and he joins us now. Good morning, Dr. Labos. Great to chat with you again.
Oh, good to talk to you too, Ron.
So how concerned should we be about the rise in listeria cases? I hear the word listeria and I get nervous for my friends that I know right now who are pregnant in particular.
Yeah, and that's the real concern. This is particularly problematic amongst pregnant women or other people who are immunocompromised or elderly individuals. Most young, healthy people, if they were to get listeria, would get a diarrheal illness of some form, like a form of gastroenteritis, and they would recover. But it can actually be very serious, especially in pregnant women. That's the one subgroup that we really worry about. How worried should we be about this recent uptick? I'm probably not very worried about this specific update to the story because there is a delay between somebody ingesting the infected food product, getting sick, going to hospital, getting diagnosed, and those cases being reported to public health. So that lag probably explains why the numbers are only being recorded now. So I don't think that this is a sign that anything has changed or anything has worsened, but we should remember that food safety is important, and when you have something like this happen, a contamination of food products, in this case the plant-based milks, it is not a benign thing. And while most people are going to be okay, a small number of people won't. And let's remember, 2 people died because of this, something that should have been preventable.
Absolutely. And there's a variety of ways you can get it. So obviously plant-based milks, oat milk and things like that, you can't really wash your milk. But there's other ways that you can contract a foodborne illness. And a lot of that comes from not properly washing your fruits and vegetables, not properly cooking your meats. Right, Dr. Labos?
Exactly right. Now, listeria, we used to see it with milk more often than not. We don't see it that much with milk anymore because we pasteurize it. So properly treating food is what makes the difference. Properly cooking your meat is how you don't get E. coli or salmonella or other things like that. But we often neglect things like vegetables, and we forget that vegetables, especially raw vegetables, are not being cooked. They are not being subjected to the process of heat that kills bacteria. That's why we cook our food. And so properly washing your vegetables is important. And this is why it's so important to sort of reinforce into people's minds why, if you're going to be handling meat or other raw food, you've really got to wash your hands and wash all your utensils, or use different utensils before you start cutting the salad, because you can contaminate the salad with the bacteria that were on the meat. I had one experience where I had a friend over, this was many years ago, and they were cooking a steak and they were seasoning it and they were using their hands, which I thought, okay, a little weird. And then they started grabbing the salt shaker and the pepper and they're trying to spice. And I said, stop what you're doing, because I hadn't noticed they were doing it. Like, what did you touch? And they didn't know. So basically I said, you know what, just throw it all out. We're going to decontaminate the entire kitchen, because you can't be sure what they were contaminating. This is how people spread E. coli to an entire surface and, sometimes make their family sick.
Exactly. In conversation with Dr. Christopher Labos, listeria cases on the rise once again in Canada. How worried should we be? Now, Dr. Labos, I'm, in my 30s, so a lot of my friends are pregnant. My family members are pregnant. This is just, the age group that I am in. And I have some friends who ignore a lot of the food recommendations while they're pregnant. Like, you're not supposed to eat deli meats. Your eggs should be fully cooked instead of kind of gooey in the middle. You should eat well-cooked meats, that you shouldn't be eating soft cheeses. And in their mind, they're like, well, it didn't make me sick before. Why is it suddenly going to make me sick when you're pregnant? And that's really not what it is, right? It's just that the risk of contracting things like listeria and salmonella is slightly higher with those food products, and it can be dangerous when you're pregnant, correct?
That's exactly right. And here's the problem. We have been seeing in recent years a bit of a pop science movement that gained these, quote unquote pregnancy myths. Like, oh, all these things you've heard are not true. They're old wives' tales. Go eat soft cheeses. Do whatever you want. Here's the thing. If that soft cheese that was made with unpasteurized milk was made properly and there's no bacteria in it, then yeah, you are going to be fine. It's all about these rare circumstances when it's not, right? When there is listeria in that soft cheese and you do eat it and it does make you sick and it causes a more severe infection that infects the baby. And so the question becomes, well, how much of a risk is it? Well, it's admittedly low on a daily basis, and yet things like this with the listeria outbreak do happen from time to time. So it's really a question of, can you be a little bit careful for the 9 months when you're pregnant to realize that, yeah, you are at slightly higher risk than you would have been during the rest of your life when you weren't pregnant, when your immune system probably would fight this off and just make you a little bit sick for a short period of time, because it is going to be more complicated and have more complications if you get sick when you're pregnant.
Absolutely. It's just about risk management, right? Deciding what level of risk you're willing to tolerate for yourself and your child if you're pregnant. For me personally, I wasn't willing to take the risk, so I didn't eat any soft cheeses or deli meats. And let me tell you, Dr. Labos, when I got home from the hospital, when I was released after my daughter was born, we were still in the car and I was ordering my sushi to be delivered to the house because, I missed my kamikaze rolls.
Well, and here's the thing. If we could be 100% certain that people were, catching the fish, flash freezing it immediately, that it was being stored properly and that there was zero risk of contamination, then maybe it would be okay. But you can never be 100% certain. So it's really that question is like, can you not eat sushi for that small period of time? Because while it may be okay, it also may not. And that risk is there. And that's why we've been cooking our food since time immemorial, because it does make food safer. It kills the bacteria that are often present and that make a lot of people sick every year. I mean, E. coli and salmonella outbreaks are not rare occurrences. And again, while you might be okay, somebody who's older or somebody who's pregnant, they're going to have more complications as a result of it.
So to recap, Dr. Labos, listen to your doctor when he tells you not to eat certain things or to wash things very well. Do that, listen to them, and also try not to contaminate your working surfaces. If you're cutting up raw chicken on a chopping board, maybe wash it first before you start prepping your salad, right?
I mean, that's absolutely right. And these are things that have to be retaught to every generation because God bless them, the 20-year-olds now, if they've never been told this sort of thing, this is news to them. And so it's important to make sure that your kids learn these things so that it does become common wisdom, because it only takes a generation for common wisdom to be forgotten.
Common wisdom just isn't all that common, unfortunately. Dr. Christopher Labos, cardiologist with a degree in epidemiology. You can hear him on Weekends with Joanne, Sundays at 7:05 a.m. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Labos. As always, always appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.